Hello, everybody. Welcome back to A Book for My Sister podcast, and we are just two sisters hanging out and talking about books. And today we are together. Oh my gosh, we're in person together for this episode. It's pretty exciting. We're sharing a singular microphone.
We're sitting on the floor.
We're on the floor. So if the audio is weird, then please forgive us. Today we're doing just a little discussion episode. We're taking a little deep dive break after our Grady Hendrix series. And we're ramping up to do our next series. So right now there's just a little discussion. It might not be as long as usual. We're just going to tell you about what we're reading in this moment and any books we've recently finished or that we're hoping to start, any seasonal reads we might have or suggestions to get you through the lovely autumn season, because it's really autumn. It's cold outside. At least here.
It is pretty cold outside.
It's 50 degrees, which is pretty cold for us.
Freaking freezing for us southern gals.
Truly. Okay. Cassie, what do you have to drink today during this episode?
Well, I rifled through your tea cabinet, and I am drinking, what is it, a licorice and peppermint tea with a splash of oat milk creamer.
Wow.
It's pretty good.
The Oatly sweet creamer, to be specific.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I feel like it kind of tastes like a donut, the creamer. It's a little donut.
Well, I only really did a splash, so it just kind of tastes like the tea.
Well, that sounds yummy. I have also some tea. I have green tea with elderberry plus vitamin C from Bigelow. So
Gotta have it.
It's illness season, so gotta have that elderberry. You really smell like licorice tea.
Thank you.
Okay. Alrighty. So today we're not really going to be spoiling the plots of books. We're just going to be talking about how much we liked books that we finished, what we don't like reading, how we're feeling about our current reads. So we might do a little bit of summarizing for some of them, but we're not going to be spoiling twists or really anything explicitly. So we're just going to have a little chat. So come chat with us, guys. Okay, Cassie, would you like to start us out?
Sure. Gotta pass the mic. Okay, so what I am currently reading, I'm kind of switching in between two books because I wanted one creepy for like Halloween, but now, I was supposed to say Halloween's over. It's not. One creepy and then one normal. So I've been reading for a while now, and it's like kind of embarrassing how long I've been reading it. It's because I started grad school, okay? I'm a busy girl and I work. It's not fun. Okay, so the book I've been reading for months is The Little Friend by Donna Tartt. I love that. Love Donna Tartt. I don't love that book. I love Donna Tartt. Well, her one other book I've read. It's really good. Well, no, it's okay. Okay, let me just do like a little summary.
A lot of disclaimers here.
Yeah, it's good. I think my issue with it is that there's just like a lot of side plots, and I know that they're all going to converge in the end, and they already are starting to converge, but like I just genuinely can't keep up with everyone's names, honestly. And that's my bad. So The Little Friend follows a young girl, Harriet Dufresne. I love that last name.
Is that how you say that? It's not Dufresnes?
It's definitely not Dufresnes. It's definitely Dufresne. Like Jeremy Dufresne, Lana Del Rey's husband.
Oh, I had no idea that was his name. The Alligator Man?
The Alligator Man.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Dufresne family is living in Mississippi in the early 1970s. This is another one. Yeah, sure. This is another one where I thought it was taking place in the 50s, but then someone was wearing bell bottoms, and I was like, okay, this is not the 50s, and then I looked it up, and it was, in fact, the 70s.
Oh, my God.
But the story basically, it begins around the death of Harriet's brother, Robin, who died by hanging in 1964 at the age of 9.
Spooky.
It was really spooky. Like, he was, and this isn't a spoiler because that's literally on the back of the book. But yeah, like he was just, and she was a baby at this point, so she does not remember him.
She cursed him as a baby.
That's not what happened.
Okay.
And so they were just him, and she has a middle sister too, who's such a drip, like really. Oh my she is just so like, and she has problems. Like, I think she's just like, I think she's very depressed, and I don't think they know what that is in like 1970. Like a young girl being depressed, or like what? No, but she just is like, she's just very blah. I don't know. And that's how Harriet describes her. I'm not being mean.
I'm just being accurate to the point.
I'm just being accurate. So yeah, he was playing with her outside. The mother lost sight of him for like, it was like 5 minutes, and then she goes back out to see him. He's just hanging in a tree, and it very obviously ruined his mother's life. She never recovered, and the dad left them, and it was really sad. Okay. And so now we flash forward to, I think Harriet's like 12, and she is a very like rambunctious girl. Like, she's very funny, she's very smart, and she's just trying to figure out who killed her brother because they never figured it out. So she's trying to solve that mystery as a 12-year-old in 1970s Mississippi. And then also there's a bunch of side plots about like meth and yeah. All right. Like these guys are cooking meth.
Cool.
I think it's meth. No. Oh yeah, no, it is crystal. Yeah, and like so that's the plot where I'm like, I don't really care about these guys cooking meth. Oh, and then also there's a plot with really religious people and like the snakes. They'd be like, if the snake bites me, the Lord will protect me.
What?
You don't know those?
No, I don't know.
Oh my gosh, those were huge in like the
what do you mean?
In
like
the 1900s and what do you mean?
Like on the corner? Like they're standing on the street corner and they're
like they're preaching
about snakes?
No. Oh my god. I can't believe you don't know this. They these I don't even know would they be Baptist? That's offensive if that's not true. I'm sorry to Baptists. I don't know. But like really like Southern evangelicals, like obviously not all of them, that they would like they would have like rattlesnakes, and they would be like, if I get bit and I die, then the Lord is not protecting me and I'm not the prophet or whatever. If I get bit and I live, then he is protecting me and I am like the prophet and you have to listen to me, like kind of like that.
What?
That's like a thing. So that's a side plot too. And they're starting to converge. So yeah. And Harriet has a little friend, and her little... Oh, that's not the name of that's not why the book's named that, but she does have a friend who is also the same age, and he's really cute, and they're really cute together. But yeah, it just... Yeah, it's good. It's really long, and so it's just taking me... I feel like people are going to be like, it's not that long. It's long to me, okay?
It looks pretty thick when I look at it on my bookshelf.
Yeah, it's thick, and the words are small, okay? And I'm busy with other things. So yeah. That is a book that I have been reading for a while. The Little Friend. Donna Tartt. Highly recommend. The other book that I've kind of just been thumbing through, because it's more like a short story. It's only like 130 pages. And that is The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells.
Isn't that a really old... Isn't H.G. Wells like... the radio guy? Isn't he the radio guy? Isn't he the War of Worlds guy?
Yes, I think so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, this book was written in like the 1890s.
Oh, yeah.
I went to our local bookstore and I purchased like a what's a book that has like all the other books in it? Like a...
Anthology?
I purchased an anthology of classic science fiction. So I'm sorry, because I really wanted to read The Invisible Man and Journey to the Center of the Earth. And those were both in there. And I was like, oh my God. This is so great. What a bang for my buck. So I was reading The Invisible Man, and it's really good. And yeah, it's really short. I'm probably like over halfway done with it. And I mean, I'm sure like people have probably seen the movie. I've seen the movie. Not the old one, the new one. With Elizabeth Moss.
The Scientologist.
Is that her name?
Yeah.
Yeah. Incredible actress. Scary movie. Very scary to me.
You've seen that movie?
Yeah.
Isn't that like a horror movie?
It's like a thriller.
Oh.
But it's scary to me. But it's so good. Oh my God, it's so good. So this is just what that's based on. And it's very different, obviously, from the plot of the movie. This is very different. Because it's just like a guy. And it's not a suit that he puts on. It's a potion that he invents and he drinks it and it turns him invisible. But it's funny because he hasn't perfected the potion yet. So only parts of him are invisible.
Oh.
So he's wearing like long sleeves, pants, high socks, and his face is wrapped in bandages, except for the tip of his nose, because the tip of his nose is still pink because it's his skin is still showing. And so it's very British too. So all these British people are like, what's it going on in his nose?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like that. Yeah. So, and there's this one scene where he gets like bit by a dog, and the dog like bites through his leg, and then he just
Through his leg?
Well, it bites his leg, and it tears a hole in his pants.
Oh.
And so he immediately runs inside. And then the guy whose dog it was, he was like, oh, so sorry, bruv, like. And then he's like, I swear, when I looked in his pants, which is, okay. Let me rephrase that. When I saw the hole in his pants, it was just black in there. He was like, there was nothing in there. And then it's really interesting because I wish I had the book with me, but they had a different word for pigmentation. So it's like vitiligo, but they had a different word for it, and I can't remember it now because it was the 1890s. And so they thought that he had vitiligo, and because they were like, okay, well, some parts of his skin are darker and some are light pink. So obviously this man, like, what's wrong with this guy? And he's covered in bandages. Maybe he's embarrassed. And it's like, because it was the 1890s, and I'm sure that back then that was not widely accepted. So yeah, it's really interesting. And they're like, no, man, like, I'm pretty sure there was literally nothing there. So yeah, and the chapter I just read, he got a taste for crime. Because he realized that he could do anything, really, when you're invisible. Yeah. So he starts with robbery, and I know the story intensifies to murder. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Yeah.
You're looking forward to the murder?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay, guys. So this is Amelia. What I'm currently reading is a lot of things. Because I just have been I didn't used to like start stuff and then kind of let them drag out and not ever finish them and start something else. Like usually I'll try and focus on one book, because then what happens is I'll have a pile of 6 books that I'm reading currently. And will they ever get finished? I'm not sure. The books that I am currently reading are The Anthropocene Reviewed by John Green, which my lovely friend Mary has let me borrow her copy. I really like it so far. I think it's like sort of like it's kind of a nice thing to read. I usually will read like a chapter or two before bed, and it's like each chapter is like a different thing that he's reviewing, and it's like just random stuff in the world. Like Kentucky bluegrass, he does a review of like the grass.
That sounds like something I would love to write. Like where I just review things and like say, I didn't like this. I did. Or you guys, this is pretty cool. Like I feel like I would love to do that.
Well, I think it's he writes it in his like John Green like prose. And also I think that it's adapted from his podcast by the same name. And I think that each episode I have not listened to this podcast, so I don't know. But it's adapted. I know that the book is adapted from his podcast, and he like would take those things and he kind of would make it more like writing. So it's really good so far. It is like a nice little light thing to read before bed. There's no like nobody's dying. No, there's nothing like horrendous happening. So I really like it so far. I think I'm like maybe halfway through. It's just a nice little thing to read before you get in bed. So highly recommend. It's pretty good and just nice and light. And then this second book, I started The Witching Hour by Anne Rice probably a month and a half ago. That book is, I think, over 1,000 pages. So it's really long, and it's very detailed. She really wants you to know about like the houses that these people live in. What?
Oh, I was just going to ask. She writes Interview with a Vampire,
yes,
right?
Okay. That's Interview with a Vampire by Anne Rice. I was going to start reading Interview with a Vampire, and then I checked it out. I requested it from a different library, and then they sent it to my library, and it was such like, the book was so damaged that it was sent with the rubber band around it, and it had a note that was like, please be careful with this book. And I was like, already like, I'm a little scared to handle this now. And I think I also had a really short loan period, and I was like, I'm just not going to read this book.
That's so ridiculous. It's like not like that book's like an ancient manuscript. You can go to Barnes and Noble and get a new copy. So why did they send you like leaflets glued together? That's crazy.
Some places do that. It was like from like a university library, so they were like, whatever. No one's reading Interview with the Vampire probably.
They're like, this is the original manuscript. Please be careful.
Interview with the Vampire. So I haven't read that one. And The Witching Hour is like twice as long or 3 times as long or whatever as Interview with the Vampire. So I'm reading it slowly. It's good. I really purchased it at a bookstore because the cover was so beautiful. Because I bought this hardback copy. It's somewhere in my house. Oh, it's out there. And I really liked the cover. And even when I was checking out, the person who was, scanning up my books was like, wow, this is a really beautiful copy of The Witching Hour. And I was like, I know. And so I like to have it. I'm reading it currently, but it's taking me a long time. So it's kind of boring, but it is nice to read before bed also because it makes me sleepy because it's so descriptive. So that's a bonus, I guess, I suppose. And then the third book that I've been in the process of reading is Ring Shout by P. Jelly Clark. And that's also really good. It's very short. This is the opposite of the length of Witching Hour. This book is like 200 pages. Like it is a skinny little book. And yet I literally probably have 50 pages left. And it's just sitting on my nightstand because I was reading it at work and then I switched jobs. So I brought it home and I just haven't picked it back up since then. So I have to finish that. I got to finish that. It is really good so far though. So, got to do that. Then I started reading Out There Screaming, which is a horror, like short story anthology. And I think it was edited down by, oh my God, why am I blanking on his name?
Why didn't you write
Jordan Peele.
Down? Oh, that's why.
Is edited by Jordan. That's why.
I was like, why did you not write this person's name? Oh, it's Jordan.
Jordan Peele. I think they were like sort of brought together by Jordan Peele or something. So, the thing is that I've never really been a short story anthology kind of person. I don't really like a short story because I want to know the details and I want to know what's happening and I want like the long pages.
I read a short story anthology once by Margaret Atwood because I didn't realize, obviously Handmaid's Tale icon. Mm-hmm. She's like, her specialty is like short stories. Like she writes a lot of short stories. And so I was reading this. I didn't realize it was a short story anthology. So I was reading the first story. I was like, oh my God, this is so good. I can't wait. And then I turned the page. It's like over. Next story. And I was like, what? Yeah. I was devastated. But all the stories were really good. Yeah. But I was like, I wish I could keep reading.
I know. That's the thing is that I'll read one and I'm like, I want a whole book about this one thing. Like I want an entire book about this one story and I want another book about this story. And it's just the thing about a short story also is that they kind of end on a cliffhanger because that's sort of the point. So, I'm really not the biggest fan. I did read a few. They are really good. If you are like a short story kind of person and you like horror, I would recommend it. I think that they're really interesting and creative and like new. But I'm just not a short story person. I'm going to keep trying though, because it is nice to like have a short story. If you like have 20 minutes, but you want to read something interesting, that is something. So I've been reading that. And then the last one, which I started, I think last week, I checked out from the library. I think most of these are library books, is Death of a Princess by Scott McLeod and Tam Sankton. Tam Sankton. This is a book from the 90s about the death of Princess Diana and the conspiracy theories surrounding her death.
Can I borrow that when you're done?
It's a library book.
Oh, damn
It's due on November 14th.
No! I'll write it down.
I don't have that much time to read it. Yeah, so I've got to...
Gosh. Princess Di.
I know, Princess Di. Ugh. I really, actually, to unrelated, if y'all need a podcast to listen to about Princess Di, I would recommend You're Wrong About, like years ago. Did like a 5-part series about Princess Diana's life and death. And it's very interesting and very good. And I just re-listened to it for like the 5th time because it's really, really good. And they talk about like her marriage with Prince Charles and like...
Ew.
ew, we hate him, boo, and their divorce and like her early life. And so it's really interesting. And they talk about her death, and it's really sad. And they really like get into her as a person. I think they did it like early 2020 to try and be like, here's something about a princess while we're all like locked in our homes. So I would super recommend You're Wrong About Princess Diana series. It's very good. And so I'm reading that because Mike Hobbs on the podcast was reading it, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna read this and see what it's like. So that's what I'm currently reading. I did start reading Absolution by Jeff Vandermeer, which is like the Annihilation, like Area X trilogy. This is like the newest one that he just wrote, but I had to put it down because I was like, I don't know what's happening. So I'll come back to that one. But I did start that one, and I had to take a little break.
Now we're going to discuss some books that we have finished recently. So this one's a little different than everything we've been talking about. This is a true story. It's true, as I was going to say historical fiction. No, it's a true historical book. I was given it at work, given a free copy at work, and I was like, you know what? Let's learn something. Let's educate ourselves. This book is called A Higher Call, an incredible true story of combat and chivalry in the war-torn skies of World War II by Adam Makos and Larry Alexander. Now, World War II. Okay, I know we've all had our phases where we've been obsessed with World War II. I guess I'm currently in that. And it was such a great book. Oh my gosh, it was so good. And I can tell you the story. It's a great story. So the story is a great, incredible, true story of this B-17 pilot, of a friendship between a B-17 pilot and a Luftwaffe fighter pilot. And so basically what happened is this B-17 pilot is on a mission to France, a bombing mission to France, and they get shot to hell. Like, their B-17 is just absolutely destroyed. They have like 2 engines left. Like, they are just... It is bad. Like, they have someone on board who's in really oh yeah, oh no, it's really sad. I'm just remembering. No, it's really sad. Everyone lived except for the tail gunner. He was fully decapitated. Oh, it was really sad. And so like, oh my god, it's terrible. So that's important though, because he was a tail gunner. He was in the back, fully decapitated by something, by probably like, I don't know, bullets. I guess, I don't know. And really sad. But everyone else was okay. There were some injuries, but you know, and so this pilot was determined to get his crew safely back to England. And everyone was like, should we bail out? And he was like, nope, we can make it. And they're like, should we land in friendly territory? And he's like, nope, we can make it. So they're trying their best to get back to England. Meanwhile, a Luftwaffe fighter pilot is circling around, trying to pick off any stragglers, as they were trained to do. And he sees this B-17. He described it as the most damaged B-17 he'd ever seen. He did not know how it was still flying. He's curious about it, so he flies towards it, and he's looking around. He sees the tail gunner. He sees just blood pouring out of the back of the plane. It's devastating. And so he immediately, he feels bad for this guy. And so he goes around to the front. He makes eye contact with the pilot, and he tries to signal to them like, hey, come land at my airbase. Like, we'll take you as POWs and you'll be safe, like, basically. This guy, he hated the Nazis. He was not a Nazi. So I think that's important because I didn't realize that when I was reading it. He was just a guy because he was an airline pilot before, and they forced him to join the Air Force. So yeah, that's what happened. So he's trying to get the pilot to land, and he's like kind of like leading him. He's like, hey, follow me, like I can get you somewhere safely. And the pilot's like, this guy's an idiot. He's trying to get me to land so he can kill us. That's crazy. And so he's like, nope. They're signaling back. She's like, nope, I'm gonna keep going. And so the Luftwaffe pilot, sticks with them and guides them towards the English Channel. He makes sure that nobody messes with them because all of his buddies in the air, all the Luftwaffe buddies, they see him and they're like, oh, he's gonna go get that plane. He's gonna shoot them down. And he just flies right next to them, wing to wing, the entire way to the English Channel. And then he lets them cross it and he leaves. And that's something that he could have been shot for, like on site. Like they were not allowed to do that. And so luckily it was never found out. And the B-17 crew, when they got home, they were like, that Luftwaffe pilot like saved our lives. That's crazy. He guided us through this horrible airspace, and he saved our lives. The war ends years later, and even more years later, they get in contact with each other because years later, way after the war has ended, the Luftwaffe pilot has moved to Canada, where he is now a Canadian citizen. He left Germany after the war, and he writes to a few bomb group newsletters and puts his letter in there and says, hey, I'm looking for a B-17 pilot who flew this mission and had this encounter with this, he's trying to find this crew. And the pilot sees it, and they start corresponding back and forth, and they eventually meet, and they were lifelong friends till the day they died. So it's a really incredible story. It's a great book, and you learn more about the Luftwaffe and how they operated, and then you also learn more about the Air Force, and it was really, really interesting, and I actually highly recommend it if you want a good history read that is just, it's very inspirational, and it's nice to hear. So yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I recommend it.
Wonderful. So I didn't finish anything recently that was remotely like that book. Actually, I did read a nonfiction book.
What was it about?
It's called Everything is Tuberculosis by John Green. I'm a little bit on a John Green kick, I guess. It's really good. It was really, really sad. So Everything is Tuberculosis is about the history of the disease and how it shaped beauty standards today. Like that's why like being super pale and like rosy cheeked and like thin became like a beauty standard.
That's crazy because, I'm a blush girl. I love a rosy cheek, and so are you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why. It's because you would look really flushed, and because you were sick. And it was also sort of like glamorized among like white artists because a lot of them were dying of tuberculosis. So it sort of became like, oh, the disease of like artists and like Renaissance people who were like so smart and like all of this. So it sort of became that. And so now tuberculosis is in the US, in the United States, it's not really like a disease that we're like worrying about, tuberculosis. But in the book, he follows this one teenager in, I believe, Sierra Leone. He meets him. His name is Henry, and he is like 17, and he's had tuberculosis for most of his life. And in more remote areas, like in Sierra Leone, there is very little access to tuberculosis drugs because it's totally treatable. But if you don't catch it early enough, then it can become drug resistant. Or if you start the drugs and then you go off of them, when you try and go back on them, you will develop you can develop drug resistant tuberculosis. So then in Sierra Leone, because it's like such a regimented thing, the people like I don't know if it's like the government or like that sort of like USAID like regulates this, or I'm not quite sure who. I don't quite remember, so don't quote me on any of this. But basically, because of like racism, the doctors don't let the patients with TB take the drugs home to take on their own time, on their own schedule, like every day. They make them come into the clinic like every day or every couple of days to come get their medicine. But depending on where they live, they could live days away from a clinic. So they have to like travel, or they have to move, or they have to make something work, or they have to go like live in a facility. So they've made it very difficult for people to stay on TB drugs. And so it was about that. It was about like racism and TB and like the history of TB. And it was really interesting. And he talks about like medical racism, and it was really sad. And he talks about Henry because he became friends with Henry. And spoiler alert, I guess, Henry does live.
Oh my God, I thought I was going to say Henry
No,
died.
Henry lives.
Like, why are you saying
and
that?
he has a YouTube channel, and you can follow him on YouTube, and John Green like has it in the back of the book. And he's like advocating for like TB awareness and stuff. So that book was really good. Highly recommend it. Made me cry. I really like it. And then you all already heard me talk about this book in our Halloween episode, but I did finish Slewfoot by, I don't remember his first name, Brom. I just have Brom on here, but I'm pretty sure he's got a first name that he puts on his books. But one of my coworkers, actually, I was talking to her about it this week, and I asked her if she liked it because we were talking about the Witch, the movie, The Witch. And I was like, oh, have you read Slewfoot? And she didn't like it. And she said one of the reasons she didn't like it is because so the book takes place in 1666. And so the main character, you're like in her thoughts and stuff, and she uses the word like sadistic in her thoughts. Like she thinks the word sadistic. I guess when she's thinking about something, she'll be like, oh, that was sadistic or something. Okay. And apparently the word sadistic didn't even exist until like the 1700s. And so she was basically using a word that did not exist at the time in her thought. Like she's thinking that word. Well, and I think she was
just
ahead of the time.
What is the word I'm trying to think of? She's just a mover and a shaker.
Wow. Okay. Good for her. Good for Abatha. But I really like that book. So I really liked Slewfoot. You already heard me talk about it. Sunrise on the Reaping. I did.
Oh, yeah. I guess I also did read this recently because I gave you my copy.
You did. I borrowed Cassie's copy of Sunrise on the Reaping. I'm not a big Hunger Games person.
That's crazy.
The first book was read to me in 5th grade, like by our teacher.
That's also crazy.
The second book I read by myself after seeing the movie when it came out. And then the third book I started and I got about 2 pages in and I was like, no, thank you. So I really only ever read Catching Fire. I did not read The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes or whatever.
I didn't read that either. It was never on my radar. And then it just came out and I was like, well, let's go see it.
Yeah. And we saw the movie in theaters and I literally started sobbing in the middle of the movie.
Yeah. And I was like, please stop.
It was so horrible. It was like a full movie theater and I was just like,
inconsolable.
Just so upset. But I did read Sunrise on the Reaping because I was kind of curious about it and I thought it was fine. It wasn't my favorite. I just think that Suzanne Collins kills characters for shock value.
Okay, she definitely does, but it also is the Hunger Games, so you have to know that most of the characters are gonna die.
But I know that, but it still feels like somehow she's doing it for shock value.
Well, because the game makers are doing it for shock value.
But
so of course
she
it's
writes
shocking.
the game makers.
So what do you want her to do? Like, oh, this one died of natural causes. This one fell off a cliff.
I want her to. I don't know, man.
No, it's supposed to be shocking because you're supposed to be like, oh my god, these people are terrible.
I don't know. It was fine.
You just don't get it.
Okay, well, I'm okay with that. But also, like, okay, I'm going to say something about the end of the book right now. So if you don't want to hear it, skip forward like 30 seconds or whatever. At the end, when he gets home and, like, his girlfriend is killed and, like, his family is killed, that feels like shock value to me.
But it's supposed to show, like, how he is who he is. Like, that shaped who he is, and that's why he acts the way he does. That's why he's a drunk.
I don't care.
Oh my god.
Anyway.
No, I do. Okay, the whole family thing, that was devastating to me. I knew his girlfriend wasn't going to make it. I was like, there's no way.
Well, sure, but still.
The family, yeah.
Anyway.
But that's why he's like, in the end, it's kind of like, oh, Katniss and Peeta are his family. And it's kind of like, oh.
Well, they could still be his family, and he could also have a living family.
No, he can't.
Okay. Okay, and then the last book that I finished recently was one of my coworkers from my last job let me borrow their copy of Mr. Magic by Kirsten White. It was fine. This book was also fine. It kind of almost felt like the main character was a Wattpad character, like, and I was a little bit irritated with her. She was written like, she was just like not a girl's girl.
Damn.
I don't know. That's like the vibe that I got from her. She was like, I'm not like other girls. I'm like mysterious and weird and I don't remember anything about my past. And then like people show up to like from her past and they're like so excited to see her and she's like, who are you? Which like happens. But I was just, the way she was written, I was kind of like, okay, like, wow, she's really like just so cool and edgy and not like other girls.
See, that's how I feel about what are those books? Sarah J. Maas.
Well,
and
yeah.
Farrah.
That's exactly how Farrah
Yeah,
is. She's written like a Wattpad character.
Yeah.
That's why I can't stand her.
That was what I first thought of, and that's why I couldn't read more than the first book. I was like, this bitch is so annoying.
Yeah, well, we're not going to talk about ACOTAR on this podcast because Sarah J. Maas.
Really? Because you made me listen to you describe every single book.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's fine. But that was before I knew that Sarah J. Maas was a raging Zionist.
Oh, what?
She's a Zionist. We're not talking about her on this podcast.
Okay.
Don't buy books from Sarah J. Maas.
Okay.
She's horrible. But I did read those books. They're not good.
They're terrible.
They're bad. The fifth one's actually not so bad, but you can't read it's not a standalone book, so you can't read it by itself. You have to read the other books to even understand what the hell's going on.
What's the point?
Yeah, the first one is real bad. The second one is okay. The third one is meh. The fourth one is meh. The fifth one is good. But if you've got to read 4 books to get to the good one, then is it worth it? No.
Shouldn't read it.
You probably just should ignore it. But anyway, yeah, so I read Mr. Magic, and it was fine. It was interesting. It was about, like, children who grew up being on a television show with, like, a magician on it, but it was, like, really sort of, like, abusive. I think...
Like, pedophile?
No, it wasn't that. I think that it was supposed to be sort of a parallel to, like, growing up in a religious cult. Oh. It was sort of supposed to be, like, about religious trauma, but it was about magic.
Which is really fun.
Which is so fun.
I love magic.
So it was fine. I don't know. I wouldn't read it again. But like I kind of went into it. I don't know if y'all have seen Nope, which I also talked about in a different episode. But the sort of like one of the characters was like a child star on like a TV show. And part of the TV show was that the family had like a like monkey family member who was like, but it was literally like a monkey was on set with them. And in one episode, the monkey kills all of and it's like a live TV show. Oh, and the monkey kills, this is in Nope.
Oh,
this is not real. No, this is not the book. No, in Nope. And the monkey kills all of the family members on this TV show, except for the character who later is in the movie. And so for some reason, I was thinking about Mr. Magic, and I was like, I wonder if it's sort of going to be like Nope vibes. And it honestly was a little bit, but it was also like totally different. But it was fine. You know, the writing was okay. The thing that made me think it was sort of written like Wattpad was that we got like a very detailed description of all of her outfits. Oh, yeah. It was like, I put on my acorn colored woolen jacket with 6 buttons.
With my extra small.
My slinky jeans. Little dress and my tall leather boots is like, okay, shut up. I used to write like that too, so I'm allowed to make fun of it. But it's just ridiculous.
I didn't.
Well, I did.
I didn't, so I can't make fun of it.
Okay. Okay, Cassie, do you have any books that you're planning on picking up in the next couple of weeks, or any sort of like fall/winter rereads that you recommend for the people?
It's so annoying because I've just been so busy with school and work that I had this idea in the summertime. I really wanted to start reading the Practical Magic series because I was like, what a great fall series. I just didn't have time. So... And, you know, honestly, I'm not really, like, a rereader person. I don't, like, reread books at all. So, yeah, I'm really disappointed that I hadn't really gotten any fun, like, fall reads. And do I have any books that I'm going to keep reading my science fiction anthology. I would like to read, During the Center of the Earth? And there's another one in there I really want to read, but I can't remember the name of it. And that's pretty much all I have on my radar right now. What about you?
Well, I just got my thrift books order in the mail, and so I finally have my own copy of The Secret History. So I'm going to reread that probably when it gets colder for like some apparently The Secret History was the first like dark academia. Like that's the reason that dark academia is a genre.
And that is so valid because it is I was reading it and I was like, oh my God.
Dark academia
I love it. And it's like, oh yeah, that invented those vibes.
Yeah, she like invented it in The Secret History. I know. So I'm probably going to start rereading that when it's like December probably. And then I do want to reread The Only Good Indians because I received my copy in the mail last week and it's spooky season still. And that's a spooky little book. And I really like it. And so I'm probably going to reread that as well. Add it to my pile of currently readings. We'll see if I finish any of those other books. Well, guys, Cassie, do you have anything else that you'd like to add?
I don't think so.
Okay, then. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed our little yap episode. We're planning on doing more like conversational, less structured episodes like this in the future, especially when we're kind of in between deep dive like series, or if we just need a break from like going in depth.
Deep analysis
of male authors. We just finished our Grady Hendrix deep dive series, so if you didn't listen, you should go back and listen to it. And then we will be back on December 5th with a new genre discussion series. Just a little sneak peek. We are going to start our Michael Crichton deep dives.
Yay!
In December. So keep on a lookout for those. You can, I guess we should plug our social media. You can follow us on Instagram at A Book for My Sister Podcast. Highly recommend you do so. And obviously you can find us on Spotify and YouTube, and we don't have Apple Music figured out yet. So maybe one day.
I didn't even know we were going to do that.
Well, I mean, I don't know if we will.
Okay.
I'm not sure. People do that.
And we got a cute new cover art dropping soon.
Yes, new cover art dropping soon. It will maybe probably be out by the time this episode comes out. But
never mind.
We're still excited. My partner drew us a new cover for our podcast, a little new profile picture. So we're pretty excited. And yeah, thanks for listening. Let us know what you're reading in the comments. Don't forget to rate us on Spotify and give us a follow. Subscribe to the pod.
Subscribe to the pod if you know what's good for you.
Exactly.
And that's a threat.
It's homophobic if you don't follow us.
Yes.
A little bit. Okay.
And misogynistic.
You hate women and gay people.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Exactly. Okay, guys.
Thanks.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.